The Senate will now come to order. Our first order of business is roll call. The clerk of Senate will now take roll.
Hi everyone, if you're here as a proxy, please raise your hand and say proxy when you hear the name of your senator. Nadia Alfaraj. Here. Crystal Alvarez. Here. Wamana Awatli. Fantasy Bias. Here. Catalina Carvajal. Here. Holly Carbine. Here. Antonio Cardenas. Here. Justin Dowse.
Here.
Alana De La Torre.
Here.
Maya De La Torre.
Here.
Max Donahue.
Here.
Andrew DeHovic.
Here.
Eliza Giro.
Here.
Valerie Hymas.
Here.
Yashvi Pilati.
Proxy.
Jesse Magana.
Yes.
Simon Mizrahi. Chidi Okaru.
Here.
Rhonda Pack.
Here.
Maya Ramirez.
Here.
Brianna Rivas. Andrew Schneider. Angela Tharp. Ernesto Trupli.
Here.
Daniele Villegas Ferreira. Vida Vesuvian. Here. Justice Soto. Here.
Let the record reflect that quorum is met. Our second item on the agenda is, the approval of the agenda. Are there any motions?
Our engineering senator could not make the beginning of Senate, but he can make the end, so I move to add line item F, swearing in of appointed senator to new business.
There's a motion on the floor, having been seconded, to amend the agenda to add line item F under new business, which would be the swearing in of the School of Engineering appointed senator position. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. Having been amended, are there any motions to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda. Second.
There's a motion on the floor, having been seconded, to approve the agenda. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. The agenda is approved. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the past two Senate meetings.
I move to approve the minutes from the past two Senate meetings. Second.
There's a motion on the floor, having been seconded, to approve the past two Senate meetings minutes. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. The minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is the swearing in of two new ASG members. As Maya said, the School of Engineering position has been filled. However, individual could not make it to the beginning of Senate, but he will be joining us later. We also have the Vista Senator position has been filled by Dot, and you'll see her up here when she takes the oath. And additionally, we hadn't been able to swear in a new Associate Justice who will also be our parliamentarian. And so, Josh. And so if I could get Dot and Josh up to the Okay, my apologies. We need a motion to approve these appointed positions. Jesse?
I move to approve the appointed positions.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor, having been seconded, to approve the Associate Justice and Vista Senator. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. Been approved. Sorry. So, just for you all to be like officially part of the team, you have to repeat an oath of office. First, I'll read a little paragraph, and then you will respond, "I will," and then you will repeat your oath of office. Okay. So the members of the Associated Student Government of the University of San Diego shall adhere to the highest ethical standards. They shall exercise judgments which are fair, consistent, and equitable. They shall do everything they can to strive for excellence in their goals, adhere to the Constitution and bylaws of the Associated Student Government, and work to achieve the mission of the University of San Diego. After each of the following questions, please respond, "I will." Will you demonstrate loyalty to the mission and goals of the University of San Diego?
I will.
Will you act within the Associated Student Government's Constitution and bylaws?
I will.
Will you be fair and just in the treatment of all, addressing issues and people without prejudice, and maintaining a positive working and learning environment?
I will.
Will you honor agreements and preserve confidentiality?
I will.
Will you be honest in and accountable for your actions and statements?
I will.
Will you demonstrate personal and professional integrity in all matters and respect ASG leaders, administrators, faculty, staff, and students?
I will.
Will you provide leadership in all your assigned duties?
I will.
ASG leaders, please join me in saying the oath of office. And you can just repeat after me. We will be a part of a team
We will be a part of a team
which seeks to meet student needs,
which seeks to meet student needs,
to extend opportunities
to extend opportunities
to all students,
to all students,
and to enhance the quality of education
and to enhance the quality of education
students are offered at USD.
students are offered at USD.
We will work with fellow members
We will work with fellow members
of the ASG leadership team
of the ASG leadership team
in a spirit of harmony and cooperation.
in the spirit of harmony and cooperation.
To the best of our ability,
To the best of our ability,
we will represent and serve
we will represent and serve
the ASG body, the ASG body
the ASG body
of the University of San Diego
of the University of San Diego
in all aspects of campus life.
in all aspects of campus life.
Congratulations. All right, next item on the agenda is the confirmation of the new chairs. As you all know, we had an interviewing process for the past week. A lot of course, I was so proud to see people who stepped up and interviewed, but we do have a decision for you all, and so for the Health and Wellness Chair, Vita will be taking on the position, as well as Justin for Academics Chair. And so we just would need a vote to confirm them as new chairs. Jesse?
I move to confirm the two new chairs.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor, having been seconded, to approve the confirmation of the new chairs. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. Congratulations to the new chairs. You all can join us. Yeah, so one of you can sit right here.
I know.
I know where you live.
Just to not waste more time, I'll go ahead and get started with my report, which is, so executive board has been in talks about bringing back a WTF forum. For those of you who weren't here with us last semester, we had a forum called What to Fix. And so we're really trying to get that back. We saw students responded well to it. I think you all, the majority of us, enjoyed having that space for students. And so as we move on to this coming semester, we just wanted to hear any ideas or feedback you would have to put this on again this semester. If nothing comes to mind right now, we are taking suggestions. We're already starting to plan it, and so it would be timely. So if you all could just reach out with any suggestions, if you have any, that would be great. Additionally, I just wanted to let you all know that we do have almost $12,000 in Senate initiative funds still that we are really trying to get you all to use in whatever way you all see fit for your constituency and what they would like. We have some requests that have been already approved, and as you can see on our agenda, are coming. But yeah, I just wanted to remind you all that those are the funds that literally are for you all to use in creative ways or however you see fit, so just keep that in mind. Are there any questions? All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda are reports from committee chairs. And we can start with Drew.
Hello. I don't have any updates.
Hi everyone, it's Maya from the Student Committee. I don't really have any updates besides, I don't know if anybody knew, but the grocery trim was canceled on Sunday. And we would like to apologize, it was not our fault, but PSAFE or John Ober told me that I guess like a driver didn't sign something or whatever, so they never came. So our next one is March 15th, and that one won't be canceled, so be on the lookout.
I'm so sorry. I just overcame my sickness as well.
Hello everyone, happy Thursday. There's some excitement in the room. Yeah, thank you, you too, Jen, thanks. Okay, so just some quick updates. The ID&E committee met on Monday. We decided that our full force, our focus is going to be on the survey that we just finished, and so, sorry. I just got an email very recently from some folks in the Student Affairs Department. Every semester they have something called the Student Success Summit, in which they provide data to campus partners about like experiences of first-year students. And because the survey that we released last semester has data from second, third, fourth, and beyond, students at USD, they asked if we would be willing to share the data at that summit. And so hopefully within the next week, we'll have finalized all the categories for for the survey. And then by the week after spring break is when the summit is, and then we'll be presenting it there, which means also that Thursday, I'll request time for Cottle to present it to you all, because it'll be finalized. Which then means that because we're so heavily focused on the committee, so heavily focused on the survey itself, we wanted to offer up space. So I'm offering up space. If anyone wants to continue working with me on the action plan that I've been working on, I have faculty who also are interested in working on it. But it still is something that's very much alive and thriving, and I've been working on it. So if anyone wants to hop on and work on it, please just let me know, send me an email, and we can collaborate on that. Any questions? Thank you.
Hi everyone, student org committee chair here. We're planning our student org mixer.
which should be coming up in the next month. We're thinking about doing a pool party at Pacific Ridge. So I don't know if I should have it because it's not like finalized yet, but just to get y'all excited. It's for all the student orgs, obviously, just to like connect, just like a mixer, like it said, food, fun, like that type of stuff. We're also planning the student org ceremony, which is coming up in April, but yeah, if you have like questions, comments, concerns about any of those things, you can reach out to me.
Hello everyone, I'm Rhonda, Sustainability Chair. So no updates for me right now. I am presenting on Aussie program with my good friend Sophia Austin, who's in the back, and we'll kind of just talk about the program. So if you have any questions, kind of like think about them now, and feel free to ask them when I'm presenting, and we'll be able to bring those to faculty and kind of like maybe hopefully answer your questions as well. And yeah, and that's it. And also presenting, I will be asking for funds. Hopefully you had a chance to look at it, the sustainability initiative, or as well as like a health and wellness initiative. Thank you very much.
Hey everyone, Justin, obviously newly minted academics chair. Thank you, Bob. So for obvious reasons, since I just found out last night, I haven't been to any committee meetings, so I'm gonna hand it over to Kwam right after I give my 2 cents, sort of. I previously spoke with several committee members, Catalina and Kwam, so to Nadia and Rihanna. I hope to meet with you guys hopefully either after Senate or I'll contact with you eventually. We're gonna coordinate meeting times, and then I hope to continue the goals and expectations you guys previously had from past semester while also starting new ones. And yeah, hope to hit the ground running and make some awesome stuff happen. And Kwam, I'll hand it over to you.
Hello, I'm Kwam. Hi. Thank you for joining us, Justin. I look forward to working with you. Oh, happy Thursday. The only update that I have for the academics committee is we reached out previously to some of the operators for the learning commons that's coming in and to just investigate a 24-hour space, and we heard back. And the great thing is, next semester we will have those spaces open for 24/7, but we will look into something that we can do temporarily on campus before finals, because personally I stay up to unreasonable amounts of time. And also we got up the flyer for the spring research grants. It looks pretty cute. Catalina did it. I had no input, but you know, it was all great. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda are reports from executive board members, and we can start with Danny.
Hello everyone, happy Thursday. The only update I have for you all is before Senate, what we want to start is having outreach between, like for an hour right before Senate starts outside of Maher. Set up a table, give out canvas bags, encourage students to follow us on Instagram, also invite them into Senate. So I'm asking for volunteers. Since the one initiative that's going on right now is the academic grants, I'd love if I can get one senator that works with the academic committee, and then 2 other senators, it could be anyone, just to help between, as I said, 11 to about 12, to just be outside Maupers. Do we have any volunteers? Max, thank you. Rihanna.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What time?
11 to 12. Okay. Can I get one more senator?
Oh, I can't. 11 to 12.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Everybody, for me, my main update is that fortunately we received more revenue in the spring than we had anticipated. So, Finance Committee will meet next week to allocate those additional funds. Centers, exec, TP, everybody was allowed to request additional funds due to this, and the report has been sent out to everybody on the committee. Justin, check your email. And yeah, we'll meet on Tuesday to allocate those funds, and it should be on next week's agenda before spring break for you guys all to see. That's it for me.
Hi everyone. My only update is just a reminder of what I said last week. On Tuesday, TV and VSRC, we have the Afro DFS happening from 12:15 to 2 on Colossus Plaza. It's going to be really exciting. We're having various vendors bringing different African foods, as well as a DJ, and then a local vendor who's providing shea butter to the first 100 attendees. I'd love to see you all there. It's going to be a really, really great event. So.
Hi everybody, happy Thursday. Not too many updates from me, although relatively soon I am ordering the graduation stoles, so I hope those of you who are graduating this year are ready and excited to graduate. It's coming up soon. Yes, all be ready.
Hi everyone, I just have one major update. As some of you may know, I am part of the Code of Conduct Review Committee, and part of that I serve under a subcommittee looking at the actual code, how it's written, and I've been put in charge of looking at the wording and things put into it in terms of how it's structured. So I will be probably coming up to you all within the next 2 weeks with any feedback that you all may have. I'm going to be doing some work on that in the next 2 weeks, and then we'll be reviewing it March 16th, so I'll give you more updates as that comes. But if you're interested at all in working on this, please let me know. I'm going to stay after. But yeah.
Everyone, I don't have any updates. I'm on the agenda later for the election bylaws, so that's the big thing. As far as the informationals, I know I asked people about it last week. We have that all settled, so everyone that's presenting should have gotten the Google Calendar invite from you, time, location, all that stuff. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Oh, please go. Oh, okay. Our next item on the agenda under new business is a brief presentation on Dance Marathon at USD. And you can take the floor.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. Hello, Senate, how are you? Hi. Yeah, also, what was your name? Yours?
Mine.
Loved your energy.
Jesse.
Just, yeah, come on. Let's bring some energy. Dance Marathon, come to campus.
Yay!
Like, what are you talking about? Half of you are like, I know what this is. This is awesome. By a raise of hands, who's familiar with Dance Marathon from another university? Okay, just shout them out. What schools?
LMU.
LMU.
I think UCLA though.
UCLA, yeah.
I just moved here already.
Just here already. Okay, sweet. Any other universities?
University of Florida.
Yeah, go Gators.
University of
Connecticut? Yes. I usually start out that way because Dance Marathon is a nationwide movement on over 300 college campuses. Last year, 250,000 college students were a part of this movement, raising $44.6 million last year alone, dollar by dollar. Holy crap. It's crazy to think that why did 250,000 college students get so passionate about helping save kids' lives in their local community. So Dance Marathon is a completely student-run organization on all these campuses that work to unite their entire campus. I think as student government leaders, we're always thinking about how do we create really inclusive programs and programs that bring all organizations and all students on campus together. But also what a beautiful way and an opportunity to help save kids' lives in our local community. So Dance Marathon started in 1991 at Indiana University by a group of 13 students. These 13s entered the halls of IU their freshman year without their best friend. Their best friend Ryan White passed away his senior year of high school from a bad blood transfusion and was diagnosed with HIV and AIDS. I cannot imagine, one, losing your best friend, and two, never being able to have an opportunity like we get to go to college. But they started Dance Marathon for 3 reasons. One is so that no kid ever fought alone in their local community. 2, created an organization that truly unified their college campus. And 3, 100% of every penny raised through Dance Marathon stayed local. So Dance Marathon partners with their local Children's Miracle Network Hospital. So here locally, Dance Marathon is actually going to support Rady Children's Hospital right down the street. So I actually did Dance Marathon in college at the University of New Mexico. Everyone gets involved for very different reasons. One, it's because they want to be part of an organization that truly unifies their college campus. Some, they want the actual leadership experience. I think so many of us know that we're here going to college and trying to get a job. Like we really want to graduate and have a career. Dance Marathon gives these students the real-life business experience, leadership development, pure management of creating an entire organization. Or for some, the cause is near and dear to their heart, and that was mine. My freshman year of high school, I was diagnosed with stage 4 bone cancer and given a 20% chance to live. My freshman year, in my first varsity baseball game, I slid into second base and my knee popped. You know, I was a healthy kid. I grew up playing baseball and didn't really have any problems. And the one beautiful thing and one of the challenges that you never know you need a children's hospital until you truly need it. And when you do need it, you're hoping, for gosh sakes, that hospital has everything they need to help save your life or family members or someone close to you. So I spent 3.5 years at UNM Children's Hospital, and one of the things that I realized through that journey is our hospitals do everything they can to help these kids have a normal life. And so when I went to UNM, I was walking the halls trying to figure out, like, what do I want to get involved in? And I noticed a sign that just said, "For the kids." And just reached out, and I learned that it was an organization that unified my entire campus. And so what we're doing here is we're bringing Dance Marathon to USD. Right down the street, Dance Marathon locally is at SDSU. This Friday, they're having their 6th year event, and they're going to raise a little over $365,000 this year. Probably wondering, how the heck does that happen, and why does that matter? And so Dance Marathon will benefit Rady Children's here at USD, and throughout the year, student organizations will have the opportunity to go visit Rady, walk the hall, see exactly where their funds are going, meet patients and families. So organizations will be assigned, they're called Rady Rock Stars. They're ambassadors and kids that have had their journey treated here in San Diego, and they'll become little brothers and little sisters to our organizations. And so Dance Marathon will work in a year-round effort and then culminate in that main event, which is called Dance Marathon, to celebrate what we've done as an entire student body. That event ranges from 6 hours to 40, depending on the campus. The average is about 8 to 15, but that's a time when the entire student body comes together and stands on their feet and has the most unforgettable experience, because those 8 hours, 10 hours are nothing compared to their 8 days, 8 weeks, or 8 months in the hospital. And so throughout that event, you get to meet the patients and families, hear their stories, and know how the funds that we've raised individually and as an entire campus is going to our hospital. And at the end of that event, it's revealed what we've done as an entire student body. It's amazing when in a collective whole and the power of a shared purpose, lives can change. To put into perspective the impact that y'all are gonna make, Dance Marathon last year at SDSU actually purchased life-saving equipment for the NICU. So if you're not familiar with the NICU, it's a neonatal intensive care unit, and they actually purchased the surgical equipment for the heart surgery. So if everyone can put their phones on their hand for a second. So if you feel how light your phone is and how small it is, your phone is actually the size and weight of a premature baby. Now hold up your pinky. Your pinky is the size of their leg, and your nail is the size of their heart. Last year, because there was an increase of premature babies, Rady Children's Hospital needed more equipment, and that's what Dance Marathon purchased. Before we go to questions, I would love for you to be a part of spreading the word that Dance Marathon's on campus. Since you have your phones out, we'd love for you to go to Instagram, type in DM at USD. We created a custom Instagram story for you all. You've probably seen that throughout campus this week. We have two. One says USD ASG is for the kids, or you can put yours says I am for the kids, but DM at USD on Instagram. Give us some follow, we'll follow back, show some love. But we have an Instagram story for you. Love for you to screenshot it, upload it to your Instagram story, and spread the word that Dance Marathon's coming to campus. But this week, we're accepting, this week and next week, accepting applications for that founding executive board. So if you have someone in your organization or yourself you think would be a great leader to help start Dance Marathon and be a part of this founding team, I would love for you to share this information with them and invite them to learn more. And I'll open up to questions. Yeah.
Will this happen? Will this happen?
Will this happen this year or next year?
So the main event will happen next year, but the leadership team will get started this spring to plan the year-round effort. Great question. Thank you.
How are funds actually raised?
Yeah, so it's actually peer-to-peer. So when a student signs up, they're given their own custom app that's secured, that actually connects to your Venmo, your social media. And fundraising is actually usually where throughout the year, the leadership team will plan these week challenges. And as individuals, we'll ask our friends and our family to donate on our behalf. A lot of times you see it through like the custom Instagram stories where it's like a $2, a $5, a $10, but really it's $1 at a time and us asking our friends and our family to donate on our behalf. So last year, that 44 million, 95% of that was that dollar by dollar. And so what's amazing is we provide all the resources for the students to fundraise that connects securely through their social media, their Venmo, emails, everything like that. We built the custom app for the students. Great question.
And what is the actual 8-hour event that culminates the whole thing?
Great question. So the cool thing is, to answer that question, how do you want to create the best 8-hour experience in your life that changes kids too? So what's amazing about Dance Marathon, it looks different on every campus intentionally, because what works at USD may not work at SDSU or at University of Florida and so on. So that experience, the student leadership will create that final event that one, keeps people entertained, keeps people having fun. It's also an opportunity for student groups to have a platform to showcase themselves. We've seen it where the EDM club puts on a rave hour, or we have dance performance groups come and perform, or we have the basketball team put on a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. But really, it's a platform and a place for our student body to showcase their talents, but then also hear from the families and meet these kids that they're helping make a difference for. Great question, thank you. What do y'all think of this?
Awesome.
Sweet, yeah.
I already applied.
Yeah!
Yeah.
This is awesome. Thank you all so much. From the bottom of my heart, I'm really excited. I think the one hard part about Dance Marathon, it doesn't click until you truly see it. For those in this room that have experienced a Dance Marathon or know from another school, I ask you to share it with one another. It's truly a campus movement that each school, it brings people together because we don't want it to be a cookie cutter experience. Because I'm sorry, but USD students may not want to do what other schools want, but really y'all get the platform to showcase this, and I can't wait over the next year for your organizations to go visit Rady Children's down the street and seeing where your funds are going and the impact and the lives you're changing. So again, we have the Instagram story. Love for you to screenshot it, upload it on yours, and tag us. But thank you all so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, and thank you for being here and sharing this with us.
Absolutely.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of new and re-registering student organizations, and Alana will present for us.
Okay, so today we have 2 clubs that need approval. First is Alpha Tau Omega. It's a Christian social fraternity that is leadership development based, and they're excited for the opportunity to form their own image, as there's no current stereotypes that this frat would have to live up to because they're new on campus. And next is Society for Integrated Engineering, and their mission is to create a community of integrated engineering students so that they can communicate and collaborate on projects. And they have an emphasis on giving back and creating a social/collaborative community. Any questions about any of these clubs?
Did Alpha Tau Omega say if they're new, like completely like in the frat world, or just here?
Just here.
Okay.
Questions or motions?
Rhonda?
I move to approve both new student orgs.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor, having been seconded, to approve both of these student organizations. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And any abstentions?
Motion passes.
Motion passes, yes. Thank you for keeping them up. The student organizations are approved. Thank you, Alana. Next item on the agenda is a presentation on Aussie by our Chair of Sustainability, Rhonda and Sophia.
I hope you don't mind my picture.
I do not mind that. Put on a little timer so we're keeping time. Alright. So this is a picture of me. Alright, so Aussie program. So as you all probably seen the program, or hopefully have used the program, or heard questions from your friends or yourself, or wherever that might be. We're basically presenting about our role in the Aussie program, how it's been implemented, what the pilot program means, how to use it, and frequently asked questions that we have asked dining services to answer. And so I would like to really introduce Sophia Austin. This is kind of like her brainchild. She'll kind of introduce her role as part of the program. But there you go, take the floor.
Sure. So last semester I was approved to join a Stanford University Innovation Fellow program, and through that I worked with the director of the Changemaker Hub, JC, and the director of Office of Sustainability, Allison, and the director of Dining Services, Charles, to come up with a sustainable Tupperware program called Aussie. And all of them asked me if I had been working with other students on campus, such as Rhonda, such as Alana, and I, at the time, said no, and so I decided to form a group to help us bring Aussie to campus, and so that's kind of how we came together, yeah?
Yeah, so basically, like Sophia said, she kind of got she sent an email and we all got together, and a bunch of like-minded individuals from Be Blue Go Green, who's a sustainability club now, and then obviously, as you guys have heard all last semester too, I got involved. And so basically our role was to advocate the program. So, and as you heard my updates last semester, we ran into a couple problems, but as you know, it's here now, and it's in a pilot program. So we'll kind of talk about the general issue that we ran into. So before the Aussie program, in the SLP, there was the disposable but non-recyclable to-go boxes, which essentially, is not a sustainable thing. If you can think about what one Aussie box can fix 300 disposable boxes. And so with that, students were basically forced to use this box. Even if you want to bring your own Tupperware into the SLP, you wouldn't be able to bring that Tupperware box and use that, oh, here's my Tupperware, can I use this as my to-go box, instead of using the non-recyclable ones. And so we actually kind of want to mention that our top point here, students charge a flat rate of $300 per year for missing plates. So that is a common rumor and that we've heard. So upon reaching out this last week to Lauren Johnson, the Director of Marketing for Dining Services, we found out that Dining Services is not funded at all by tuition dollars or by USD, and said they are supposed to give back money to the school. So that's something, that fundamental fact that you guys all should know. And then also, the general issue was just single-use disposables in general. So with the pilot program, and we'll kind of touch on this later, right now we only have the one Aussie, okay, so I'll go back to this one. So this box, this machine here, so we only have that one machine in the SLP, but the goal of the pilot program is to see how many students use it, see how they like it, see how we can improve it, and then move and hopefully get another one on the west side of campus. And then so my hope and goal for the program would be to have those two, and then also probably get another one, and then have disposable or places to dispose of your Tupperware boxes, whether that mean in the vistas or in the first year housing areas, if that makes sense. So why Aussie and overall is important, Sophia?
Yeah, so one Aussie box does replace 300 disposable boxes, so those were the previously cardboard boxes. It's also, the containers themselves are number 5 plastic, which some people may not know is recyclable in our county in San Diego.
Yeah, for sure. So also, Aussie is kind of important, and I think the reason why we really love the program, although some students have said it's inconvenient, and that's something we can talk about, I think it's pretty convenient, a program. So essentially what you do is you get your to-go box, you go into the SLP, and like this is more convenient for like student aspect, is that you feel like you're doing your part for like sustainability in the earth. It's just a small little aspect that you can add to your day. So you get like, oh, I want to eat my dorm today. You get your to-go box, and then you go to your room, and then you just bring it after you just do a slight rinse. So you don't have to like fully clean it or anything like that. Which kind of, we can touch on that later, but I'll touch on it now. We did run into some issues about people saying like, oh, well, what if I get my $5 deposit, I get my to-go box, and then what if I like let the time run out and I can like reuse it again? So we actually asked about like the 3-day return rate, which is something that I heard about, but it's actually not a thing. You're allowed to use the to-go box as much as you want and then return it at the end of the semester, and you don't have to get another box. So you could, if you wanted to fully clean out your to-go box, use it in the SLP the next time you go, you can completely do that as long as it's clean. And then you swipe for your meal slips. So yeah. Anything else?
So the process is you go to the register at the SLP and you pay $5 and receive a clean to-go box from them directly. And then you're able to use it however you wish. And you go to the Aussie machine in the downstairs SLP and you deposit the to-go box into there. There's 3 steps that it says on the machine itself to follow. And then you get a small token back. So that's another frequently asked question, is what happens when you lose the token. And so I had suggested that the machine start or consider using the student ID card scanners, because actually the same software that the ID cards already use is the same exact software that the machines use, and so we are in talks about that.
So here's more of like the factual benefits. Do you want to touch on this?
Yeah, so the savings of Aussie based on their website is that it can save up to $90,000 on average within a couple of months. So from Lauren, the marketing director for the dining services, she's said that 878 boxes have already been distributed since January 26th. She was not able to disclose any economic results off of that, but that's the numbers that we know so far. And so far, Aussie has been able to divert over 5 million containers from the landfill.
And something that was also interesting, we mentioned that the 878, so there has been also a slight uptick in dining services. So if instead of doing to-go boxes, which actually I think is quite interesting, and I think that's actually great for our campus community. If you think about like, okay, now I don't want to do the Aussie box for whatever reason, so I'm gonna stay in and like maybe eat with my friends, or like kind of take that chill time. I feel like that's one reason why I may have gotten a to-go box my first year. Now it's just kind of like, oh, I'm too busy, I want to be working. So like, I don't know. I think it's kind of a benefit, but that's something we can kind of discuss. Yeah. And then this also goes back to our like vision of zero waste. So with our Vision 2024 plan, I know that the school is really emphasizing sustainability, and so I think that this program can really fit into that future vision of the school. I think it's really a beneficial program, and yeah. Alrighty. So this is kind of our little group. We have Alana, we have me, Chelsea, and Paige in the middle, and then Sophia. And we also have some more people who are not pictures, but we kind of like took a little picture with the change maker hat. So as frequently asked questions, we kind of mentioned our like the return rate. We've mentioned how to use the program, the token system. Is there any other questions that maybe you've heard? Yeah, Nancy. Yeah.
I'm just going to suggest something and slightly demand it. I think that we definitely should have alternative options to having to pay cash /campus cash. I don't understand the purpose of campus cash. that's another point that I probably should bring up to someone. But like, yeah, like meal swipes, whether that's like charging 3 meal swipes instead of $5, I don't know, or like dining dollars, because first and second years already put their money into dining services, into their meal plan, so that should correlate. And then second, I was just gonna say if there could be like, I know this is a pilot program, so that maybe next time like bigger boxes. I know that they're like super small. People eat a lot, and so they shouldn't be discriminated against with the box size, or even having like a variety of different box sizes. Yes.
Awesome, thank you.
Point of privilege, have a meeting. Take it
Chris?
Are you able to have more than one box at a time? Like, if I have a friend, I don't have a meal plan. If I had a friend who had a meal plan, he has an Aussie box and like wants to let me get one too, is that like able to happen, or does it have to come out of like, the own account?
Since I believe with the token system, since it's not connected to your student ID plan, then yes, you can get an Aussie box. Yeah, and then I know that people have had like 2 Aussie boxes because they didn't know that the return rate is not a thing. So yeah, I think that's definitely feasible. But that's something I could ask, and I'll get back to you next week, like for official answer. Yeah.
Tony?
Oh, sorry. So you mentioned dining services being funded, or not being funded at school. So can we use the box to eat at other eateries, like turmeric? I can't think of any other bit. Across the campus.
Oh my gosh, that's a great like question. I actually don't know the official answer. Do you know?
It's yes. So the pilot program is that we just have one machine. Is kind of what that means, and so the end goal is to have machines across campus, and so yes, it can be used at different areas.
Eliza?
Fantasy, to your point, you can use dining dollars for it.
What?
Yeah, I've used 5 dining dollars for the Aussie box, so that's a positive thing. Another thing I know a lot of people have been asking is why we couldn't use our Tupperware from home before. So if you just wanted to touch on that point of why this program is important.
Yeah. Sophia.
Okay, yeah. So I was talking with Charles about that, and he was saying that there's a new health standard that basically the school is liable if a student gets sick from eating from a contaminated Tupperware. And so that's kind of where the original rule at our school came from, of not being allowed to use Tupperware, because the school would be liable if a student got sick through eating out of it.
Any more questions, comments? Oh, sorry. I'm Hannah.
Yeah. Okay. Can you explain what the process for like cleaning it is? How does it go? Like, what is the process for when it's gonna get cleaned?
So going back to that original box, so what happens is after you're done using the box, you submit it into this like machine upside so that it has like the barcode you can like scan saying like, okay, I returned the box. And with that, they take it from the bottom, it's like a little trash area, which is like a little can, and then they take that and they'll wash it in the dining facilities.
So the same people who are cleaning like the dishes are cleaning that. I don't know like how many people have actually used it, but has this affected like the amount of containers, dishes they have to wash, and if so, will that affect like their pay rate or anything like that?
That is, do you know the answer to that?
So we only know how many were distributed. We don't know like how many individual students have used the system. And that was a major concern for Charles as well, is the extra demand that we put on the washing center, which is only located at the SLP. There's not one in there's not one behind La Paloma, there's not one behind Burt's. It's just the washing center in the SLP. And so we don't have that information yet, but we can definitely ask, and that's a really important thing to do.
Yeah, and I also don't know of any way that it would be affecting the workers as well. So that's something I'll ask and get back to you next week. Thank you.
If you will, just like elaborate, I guess I'm not understanding the distinction between like using our own boxes because they're like contaminated and then like taking their box and doing the same thing you would do with your own Tupperware. I know that they clean it at the end of the day, but like if you don't want it to get cleaned and you clean it yourself, like how is that different? Or did they just give you the runaround to tell you that? Or like what's their reason?
So when students bring their own Tupperware, the school, even though the student may claim it's clean, the school has no way of telling if it's clean, and so the school would prefer that students use their Tupperware because they can ensure that it's clean when it's given to them. And so the system is to kind of go around the new health law that there is that food is given to students on an SLP plate, and the student transfers it into the Tupperware. So that if a Tupperware is given across the glass, it is now the school's reliability, if that makes sense.
But I understand what your original concern is that like, oh, if I wash the same Aussie box, how is that different if I wash my own Tupperware? And that's something that we have brought up, we never got a clear answer. But I can try again and keep asking, because I think that it's an interesting question. Yeah, concern.
Point of order, the time for this allotted segment is up.
Are there any motions to extend the time? Justice?
I move to add 3 minutes.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor, having been seconded, to add 3 minutes to this time on the agenda. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. You have 3 minutes. Were you done responding?
Yes.
Okay, Ernesto, you had something to say?
Well, just
Wait for the mic, sorry.
about what you said, circumventing the new law. Why is it different using the Aussie boxes than just them giving to you on an SLP plate and then putting it on your Tupperware?
So I think the primary reason for the program of Aussie is that it's the convenience that you don't need to wash your Tupperware. All you need to do is just bring it to the SLP, they'll clean it for you. So I think it's on the basis of that rather than on the basis of, oh, I will reuse it. And then like, it's like, but yes, I completely understand where the basis of your question and like concern is, and I don't know official answer to that yet. Yes.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I maybe need to actually just play along with it. But, so you get the box and you take it to the food place you're going to, and then they give you the food on a plate, on one of their plates.
So
And then you, from their plate, you transfer.
That's the system that Charles explained to me. That's not the system I see actually happening
Okay.
right now in the
Yeah.
SLP, so there's still a little bit of confusion
Okay.
with that.
Yeah, I can just see this from personal experience as an accessibility concern. I'm not going to hold 3 plates. I can't even hold like barely 1 plate in the SLP. So it'd be best if they could give me the food in the box. But if I have to get a second plate from them and then transfer it and then take 1 plate, like to the wash, and it's just a lot for me at least. So from an accessibility standpoint, it'd be best if we could get that sorted out.
Max?
I was wondering, does the box offer different formats to it, like dividers inside the box, just so people don't like get their food like mixed up as if they're getting like Chinese and pasta?
Yeah.
You don't really want that to happen. Is that option available, or how does that work?
So, from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, we have 2 available options, and that's 1 full Aussie box with no dividers, and then 1 with a divider. But yes, the concern that was brought up earlier about like, oh, if my burger can't fit in the thing, like I don't, well, how am I gonna get a burger? So that's definitely something that I think that's more of a Aussie issue, and that's something that we would have to discuss with the well, not we, but dining services would have to discuss with the manufacturer about like getting more options. Because you're right, like if I want to get my noodles and my burger, I don't want them touching. So yeah, that's definitely something I can bring up about like the design options.
Justice? And just so you know, we just run out of the 3 minutes. Juan?
Move to extend the time by
There's a motion on the floor, having been seconded, to extend the time another 3 minutes. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. Justice?
So in regard to like how you get the food with the Aussie box, just because Fantasy brought it up, I personally used it. I just gave them the box over the glass and then they just put the food. But is that like not what we're supposed to be doing?
So the process that I talked with Charles about is that to avoid the health standard liability issue is that students receive food on an SLP plate and transfer the food themselves into the Tupperware. But based off of my observation of what's actually been happening in the SLP, and I personally have also taken part in, is just directly handing Tupperware over the glass to the server and then serving to me in the Tupperware directly is how I've experienced the system actually working.
Okay, so is this something that you guys would just like bring up with Charles, I guess, about that? And then let's say that that can't happen anymore, just given the container, like how would this process go about like students going, you can't do that anymore? Just because I feel like everyone just assumes it's like a to-go box and you can just give it to the person.
So that would be probably something that they would have to work out marketing for. And I feel like, is that, by a show of hands, like who like feels like the marketing is good for Aussie? Like good, okay, about like half, and then the other half like eh, or like any other okay. So that's like something that I was kind of concerned about marketing is like, okay, how many students actually know about the program, how they know about the like benefits, the uses, and how to do that. So yeah, that would be a marketing.
Just to point out, we didn't actually know that Aussie would be on campus until someone took a picture of it in the SLP and sent it to us, like a friend did.
Wow.
How feasible would it be in order to go around all these issues of who has a box, if you clean or not, to replace the current to-go boxes with Aussie boxes so we could treat them as such, get them directly from the people serving us, and then just put them wherever they should for somebody to clean them?
So you're saying to make it more convenient as to be like the original program that we had with the disposable ones?
Yes, I'm just wondering if it's something feasible or if the Aussie boxes have to come from the machine in which they're right now.
Personally, I think it's very feasible, especially if we transfer over to the student ID option, because then you can just be swiping your student ID, it's under your name, and then you get the box from that person, kind of like the same system as we would have before. But that's something that I think we already have currently, right? Isn't it like somewhat like that?
So we don't have that system that's swiping or scanning the ID card to receive Aussie boxes currently. I had asked Charles if we could implement that system, but that's not currently the system, it's the token system.
Right now, you actually do get the Aussie boxes from the front, like where we used to get the to-go boxes. You don't actually go to the machine to get it. The only time you go to the machine is at the end to drop it off. So it is kind of like the old program where you went up, swipe your card, and give the $5 dining dollars, and then you just get it.
A point of reference, the second extension has been reached.
Well, if you have any more questions and we don't extend the time, then feel free to ask me whenever, and I'll get back to you about the questions you asked.
Thank you, Rhonda and Sophia. Our next item on the agenda is a review of the elections bylaws. You all received this through Inaya, who sent them out. You were able to either make suggestions on there, or you were also asked to bring some with you for this meeting and review. So, Inaya, you can take the floor.
Hi everyone. For most of the document, the major changes we made, or most of the changes we made, were just changing like the verbiage to actually count for the judicial branch instead of the old elections committee. So if you look at the old one, that's most of the changes made. As far as like now, I'm just gonna go through the comments first. I think there are a few questions that probably multiple people had. And then I'll open it up to questions for the rest of you. This was a question from Angela about just the verbiage of basically a discrimination clause where you can't discriminate against someone for their ethnicity, gender, disability, religion, nationality, or sexual orientation. He suggested gender identity, adding race, biological sex, while keeping sexual orientation. And just asked like your thoughts on adding like identity to gender, adding race in addition to ethnicity. Any comments from the group?
What? Sorry.
I like his suggestions. I think those would be really good to implement.
All of them, even like biological sex, all that? All of them?
Maybe get out by biological sex, but gender identity, race, and sexual orientation, along with like religion, disability, well, maybe disability can have a different word, but you know, all that.
May I ask you a suggestion for that?
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm not really an expert on the verbiage that people with accessibility issues would prefer, but if they're with people with disability, they should be fine.
Thank you. Crystal?
Yeah, I also agree with the suggestions. I think there should be a distinction between sex and gender because they're not the same thing. And neither are race and ethnicity, so yeah, there should be distinctions.
So everyone's good with making that change?
But also keeping biological sex.
Okay.
I think if someone said it, might as well name them all.
So all three that you listed?
Yes, ma'am, just remember.
He asked if the 90-unit requirement was always a rule for someone to run as president. Yes, that is, it's always been a rule. They basically have to be going to be a senior. This is about residential commuter senators. Angela asked, how does it work in terms of selecting these people? In our apportionment, we apportion the number of commuter senators in residential. Residential is broken up in terms of spring and fall. Spring is for everyone but the incoming freshmen. Fall is for the freshmen. And I guess you could add open seats that we have if you want to add that to the election. The rules for proxies, that's all in the AS Senate bylaws. This is just for elections, so there's no word proxies here. But his question, he did add a question about if you like move away from your residential area. So let's say you're Manchester and you move from commuter. Well, that wouldn't count in these bylaws because that should just go in the Senate ones. There is a clause where if you're, let's say you're running for the Vistas, but then you don't end up living in the Vistas because you're elected before you choose your housing, you cannot take that Vista spot even though you were elected because you don't live there. And that's always been the case, and we just added that phrase.
My question about that is that I know there also is a clause in the bylaws where like if you're currently a school business senator but you were to switch your majors, you still get to keep being a school business major. So would that be the same thing for like if you ran as a business senator and then somehow you end up having to move out of the business, would you still be the business senator?
Like mid-year move out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
But we would just put that in the Senate bylaw instead of these.
And he asked for a definition of the at-large senators. I realize at-large is a new thing, so most people probably don't understand what that is, but I think it can be defined as is like, I can't define a commuter senator, a senator that could be, I don't know. So at-large senators are basically representatives of the entire undergraduate student population. So in the same way that we all vote for the president and vice president, everyone would also vote for these at-large senators, and they would just have their orgs that they're involved in, group life and whatnot, always posted so that it's accessible, so you kind of know these people are in my group, so I should go to them for my issues. But yeah, there's no
For clarification on that, so if somebody wanted to run an at-large senator, like they wouldn't run, because I see that this could be like potentially problematic if someone was running with a specific organization, just because like even when we're running for positions, you aren't allowed to be endorsed by organizations, right? So like I can't run as like senator at large of MedChat. Would it be like senator at large of like student organizations?
It's not of like student organizations, it's that you run as senator at large, and then you have all of your organizations that you're part of listed. So it's not necessarily of like MedChat itself, but you just, like you would say you're a commuter, MedChat, X, Y, Z.
I just see that could be still potentially problematic because of us not being able to be endorsed by student organizations. You know what I mean? So like it would, if they were gonna run it at large, they would need to run at large like a whole blanket, like whether it be like center at large for transfer population, center at large for like military population, like things like that. So that might be like kinks that we need to work on, like how exactly someone would do that. But I could see that it might cause like some confusion.
So just to provide some clarity in terms of the senator at large, the whole aspect, like the reason that was brought up and put into creation with the new constitution was if a student felt like they weren't being represented by these senators from either the residential area or their academic area for a certain reason. If like a large reason was, as we all know, in the past, ASG was predominantly white. So if a student of color didn't feel like they could be represented through either of the two senators that represented them, it would be an opportunity for them to be able to run and represent, as you said, like a change maker senator or a senator that identifies with the military and veterans department organization. I'm forgetting the word. So that's the whole point of senators at large. It's not like this idea of I'm running for MECHA and also Third World Coalition or anything like that. It's like I'm running as an independent person, and these are this is my overarching plan. Does that clarify a little bit more in terms of what a senator at large is? It's not an actual student org representative. It's a student who's not identifying with the housing and or academic department.
Okay.
To go off of that a little bit, what I would encourage you to think about is while these people will identify as in an org or in a department or whatever, I would say that how I have been interpreting it based on conversations is that while they do identify, they should be working for constituents in a more general scope so that they're thinking about things on a broader level than just a nuance like school or residential area. So it's trying to encompass like more aspects of the community than just like a niche. They might represent that area, but their intention or their purpose would be to represent all undergraduate students, if that helps. But it gives a little bit more freedom so that, say there's a lot of people running for the School of Engineering, there's opportunities for people to also apply for an at-large senator position.
What a privilege. Taken well. Any other questions or comments on that part?
I think it's just important since the bylaws are kind of like I forgot the word I was gonna use. They come out of the Constitution essentially, and the definition is on the Constitution. Right, yeah, so I think you should either just reference back to it or,
For later.
right.
So there are like fines that you might have to pay if you like leave your posters up too long. It's $1 per. And Angela suggested community service, an alternative way to pay that off. I don't know how we would go out and enacting that. I think that maybe the question more for the advisors and what they do, but if you're open to that, then we can discuss it. So no one's open to it? Chitty?
I think it's like a better idea just because it just seems kind of wrong to charge people for something that could just be a mistake in our policies.
Fantasy?
Yeah, maybe instead of charging folks, just saying like, your poster will be taken down and recycled politely, because it's over.
Jen. Oh, Kwam, sorry.
Yeah, they did this thing at my school where, you know, if the campaign material was left for like maybe 48 hours or even 72 hours, you would be responsible for that, and therefore you would be not like able to get like disqualified. That's the word. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's, as someone who has run before, it's definitely the responsibility of those who are running, and I think this clause is kind of just like holding those accountable for their own campaigning material. And so I don't really think we should delete that or make those in the organization like be the ones to clean up after campaigning is done. But definitely I would look into right, or alternative ways to just not make people pay.
Am I allowed to add on to that?
Oh, sure.
I mean, just as like an ultimate, like, you know, by the end of the week, if it's not down, then you're, because I feel like if you can't be responsible for your own posters, that says something.
A possibility, because there seems to be like a range, like community service is just one option. We could say it's up to the committee to decide like the penalties, and like one of the options could be $1 per page, but it also could be some kind of community service or something else that the committee comes up with. So it's open-ended, but it still has a penalty that way.
Oh, Jen, sorry.
I appreciate that many are offering to be nice and take things down for other people, but I don't know what precedence that sets to encourage doing something that they're responsible for. I would recommend at the info sessions that that's clearly articulated. I love Kwam's idea. If they're not going to take it seriously at the end and pick up after themselves, then what's the expectation with that? So I really like that. I'm just saying, not that that matters, but it's just something to be very serious about, whether that's monetary, whether that's service, I just think that there's a responsibility to really thinking about like how you start, during, and end a campaign.
Oh, sure, Jesse.
Point of personal privilege, I have a meeting to go to.
Taken well. Mario.
I will also say, as someone who's run, a lot of the places where you post your posters are actually automatically cleaned off by facilities here, like on a weekly basis. So the main posters that you have to worry about in this sense are ones that you're putting up in areas in which you've been given permission to, or the poster boards, like in the halls. And you walk by that every single day because you're going to classes every single day. So it's really not that hard to, on your way to class, to grab a poster and pull it off after the elections have finished. So I don't know that this is a harsh punishment at all. It's just keeping you accountable.
So I just wrote on here, alternate penalties may be made by the committee if deemed necessary, just as another option. That wording might be cleaned up a little later, but it's general.
What if you don't know where your poster is, like place? That can be answered. I'm thinking I'm not going to walk around this whole campus going to look for my posters again and then be penalized because I didn't walk around campus and take them down. I'm not doing that. I don't walk around campus like that. So I'm coming at that perspective, not necessarily that like we should just let everyone like be, like let them off the hook. But or maybe if people could like help each other, keep each other accountable, like hey, your poster's here, like take it down before you get charged. I don't really know. I'm just saying I'm not going to walk up and down stairs sometimes to go find my posters.
I can answer that.
Point of order, the original 15 minutes has been reached.
We have to vote on this.
What?
I move to add 5 minutes to the original discussion.
There's a motion on the floor having been seconded to add 5 minutes to the line item. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. Kind of fantasy to address what you just said. Your campaigning also doesn't necessarily have, or hopefully this is not a violation of the bylaws, but you don't have to campaign by yourself. I definitely had my friends help me out with delivering posters or just putting those up as well. So definitely don't think that this campaigning is just you by yourself walking down and spreading the news. I would suggest you having a team of those helping you campaign, and so it wouldn't solely be your responsibility. However, if you do put something up, then it's just being mindful that it's going to be your responsibility to take those back down. And so that's mostly what that's about. Marion?
Another option or suggestion that we could do to acknowledge maybe sometimes you're not in charge of all your posters, so you don't always know where they are, is doing a one-time warning where the elections committee lets you know, hey, these posters have been found and now need to be removed within 24 hours of this morning, and if not, something else will happen if there's another violation. So I do understand the aspect of maybe you're not the one posting them, or accessibility-wise, I also recognize not everyone has the ability to go up and down this campus. So that could be also implemented as a suggestion of a warning before there's an actual violation infringed.
Another possibility could just be that exceptions could be made, because it's kind of a rather rude to just say, here, pay, I don't know, $20, without hearing the other person's side of the story. I don't think that's what anyone's trying to get at here. So if you just tell us, I think be cool with that.
Holly?
Is it well conveyed that you will have to pay this fine if you leave your posters up?
In the informationals, Jen suggested, we can emphasize that. But part of your job, and it says in the informationals, is you have to know what you can and can't do in bylaws because they're sent out. But that can be a thing for if any money pops up, you can just emphasize that.
I just think as long as everyone clearly knows this will be imposed, it is your responsibility to know where you put your posters up and to take them down. So I don't think it's ridiculous. I get the accessibility thing, but making sure you keep track of where you put your posters, who put your posters up where. I don't think it's a ridiculous thing.
Judy?
Just another reason why I don't think a monetary punishment is good, I guess, is anyone that can just pay for it, that's this doesn't affect them at all. So I think another form of punishment is better, because anyone that just has the money, it doesn't matter to them, but they have to pay it all for it. That's true.
sufficient to cover that, and the alternate forms of penalties is.
Yeah, I just don't think the fine should be like the only form of punishment, or even like a form of punishment. But if it is to be, I think there should be like a secondary thing, just because monetary doesn't really like affect everybody.
Are there any other thoughts on that?
I agree with Marion's idea of perhaps there being different degrees of punishments that the elections committee can decide upon case by case.
I agree that there shouldn't be a monetary fine imposed at all. I think that it should be disqualification, like Kwam suggested.
If I just say, I don't specify a penalty, we just say the committee or the judiciary shall decide your fate. That way everyone's satisfied. Sound good to you guys? Yeah. Wonderful. We're gonna move on now. How are we gonna define it affiliate to the candidate? I've actually discussed this with someone else in our branch because I think that's a great question. It's, when I first thought of it, I just assumed it was like, to have evidence to know that this person is asking this other person to do things, but I also realized there are times, word of mouth or like, just your friends are doing it. I think the original, this is like from the original bylaws, the candidates or affiliates thing. I took it as they kept it kind of ambiguous just to cover all of the gray area. So like your friends, or it could be like someone you're in an org with is doing it for you. I don't know specifically how we should go, to be honest about that. Does anyone have any opinions on how strictly that should be done?
Point of order, we reached the limit of the 5-minute extension.
Madam Speaker, I move to add 10 minutes to the discussion.
Second. There's a motion on the floor, having been seconded, to add an additional 10 minutes to elections bylaws review. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. So I kind of just like asked it because I didn't know, well, when you look at affiliates, it's just like there's a connection to a certain group. And so I don't know, like, I was just wondering, obviously, would that include friends? Is that just like anyone who's part of an org with that person?
It's difficult because usually like it is people's friends that are kind of doing the dirty work. And I would say like the whole campaign like committee, like your team, they put your flyers up. But those are usually loosely defined. You don't have to report to us, your team, because I'm assuming it's always changing. I think that's a gray area.
So I think, sorry, for affiliated, I guess the definition we're using is just anyone connected or related to the candidate. Is that kind of how we're using it?
On behalf of the candidate, you might have to argue how you prove that. I guess it's a future me problem, not me now. But,
for sure.
I think we should be a lot more clear with that, because as someone who ran last year, there were things that happened that were out of my control that I had not had any contact with for actions to happen, and they did, and it fell on me as if they were related with me because they were using my name for it. So I think for that, there needs to be a clear thing, even if it means when a candidate runs, they submit a list of people who they're working with to do it, just because I don't think it's fair for a candidate to potentially face disqualification for the actions of someone who maybe either supports them but isn't actually a part of their campaign team, and or someone who's just against the opposite candidate.
To allow for fluctuations in campaign teams and whatnot, should we add candidates or individuals acting on behalf of candidates? Because you can usually track people's intentions, asking them if they're gonna do stuff that's more easily proven. Does that sound okay? Or are you still opposed to that? Yeah.
So I guess my thing with that is someone could be acting on like my behalf without me asking them to.
I meant like with their order. With
Oh, okay, sorry, then I understand that, then yeah, that would, yeah.
Good. Oh yeah, that was just a really outdated version of these bylaws. We'll just say social media accounts, I think. I don't know. It's else been anymore. No offense. Angela said, does this apply post-campaign? I'm gonna say no, because this is the campaigning section of the elections. Anything post-campaign, not my problem anymore. I don't really know how that would happen post-campaign. You just walking through the halls. So, no. And I think that's all. Yeah, that's all Angela had. So, all comments, does anyone have?
Crystal?
Does the door-to-door policy apply to commuters as well? Because oftentimes there's like a cluster of USD students on a couple blocks, and that could also happen.
Yes, it should. Now, if like the person's door is open, then technically it's not like door-to-door knocking. That is a waiver. And the rules didn't hear from me. But it happens. It's happened my freshman year. So like, yes, it does count to you guys, but it's more difficult to like know.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say that if it does apply to commuter centers, then that should be specified in the bylaws. But I think it just says residence halls.
I'll just say is permitted, not just residence halls.
Any other questions or feedback, suggestions?
Motions?
Or motions?
I move to approve the election committee bylaws.
There's a motion on the floor having been seconded to approve the elections bylaws. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. Bylaws are approved. Thanks, Inaya. All right, next item on the agenda is a funding request that you all received or should have received. The Word document for it. Rhonda will be either taking more questions, presenting a little more on the initiative. Yes.
Hey everyone, so you're hearing from me again. I'm going to walk around, I feel like it's more comfortable. So, okay, why menstrual cups? So I'm going to go through this really quickly because I do have 5 minutes to talk about it, and I'm sure you know the things and we want to discuss it a little bit more. So, menstrual cups, we would like to destigmatize periods on campus, and this is a great way to kind of get ASG more involved with our campus community. So here's all the facts. So essentially, it's a reusable alternative to tampons and pads. It can be used up to 10 to 20 years, which is amazing. And so over a lifetime, it can divert at least one menstrual cup can divert at least 2,880 tampons and pads from the landfill per person, and save about $1,000 on period products over a lifetime, which is, I don't know about you, but I would love to save $1,000 anytime. And we can also wear it up to 12 hours compared to the usual 4 to 8 hours. So you would only have to change it out about twice a day, which is a great option. I mean, I think that it's something that I've always been willing to try, but I still haven't tried, so I think this is a great way for me to get more involved in that aspect as well. It's also not associated with toxic shock syndrome, which is something that as women probably know about like using
Tampons, generally, it's a health issue as well because it's not associated with TSS. And then also, it does not contain any chemicals that are found in the tampons and pads. So, the company that we would work with, and so Savannah Robledo, who is one of my friends, she also works as an intern in the Office of Sustainability. She's the one who kind of like formulated this idea and worked with different manufacturing companies. And so she decided on Doc Cups, which is a great company because for every Doc Cup that you buy, one is given to a woman or girl in need. It partners with domestic and international organizations who provide empowerment, they provide education, community development, and gender equality, child protection, and clean water access. So this is a great company that I don't know, like, you always want to get involved with companies that give back, and so Doc Cups does give back. And it also teaches curriculum designed to teach basic anatomy and the basics of the menstrual cycle. So if you do come from a third world country or from a society that may not have that education, especially around this such stigmatized thing in our culture, it's a great company that wants to educate women and empower them in order to be women. So this is the company that we're working with. And so more on the financial, so the USC initiative. So it would be bringing, generally every cup is about $35 to $45. I believe these cups, Doc Cups, are about $35 on retail price. And so we would be bringing these menstrual cups, working with the company at a very discounted price, and we're also buying them at a very discounted price. So you'll be bringing them at a free or reduced cost. And so also this promotes sustainability, menstrual quality, as well as destigmatizing periods on campus, because most students do not know or maybe a little bit worried or concerned about using it. So this would definitely be a way that we can promote education on campus. And then also it would be integrated within the Women's Her Story Month, which with the Women Commons. So Savannah did reach out, and this is something that we could discuss, to Women's Commons as well as the Student Health Center in order to find funding for this, but it was something that they were unable to get at this time. But Women's Commons is definitely working with marketing this, so it would be they would have events about education, empowerment, and then also the cups would be sold in the Women's Center or Women's Commons because it's more like a place that you can go to that's not, it's not like a table outside in Kalachi's Plaza, it's more you can this is your own thing, it's a little bit more of personal. So this is something that they would integrate into that, and so something that they thought about in the pricing and kind of figuring out how to pilot this program is the first 20 cups will be given out free. So it's kind of good initiatives to get students talking. So someone who may be interested in the program but never got into it might get a cup for free, talk to their friends, be like, hey, this is actually something that's really cool, maybe you should try it out, and then their friends can try it out too. And then the tiered pricing that they thought of was, so in Her Story Month in March, we do have that first week, that spring break. So we would not have that week to sell anything, but the week after that, as well as the other two, it would be tiered pricing. So the first week you can get it for $5, the next week you can get it for $10, and the next week you can get it for $15. And then hopefully by the end of the month, we sell all of the cups. So that would be kind of an incentive to get on it and get it before it gets to $15. So, and then also with that, all the money that we would receive through that, through the students buying it, it would either be added to this pool of funds to buy more, depending on how the program's success was, or to donate to Doc Cups in order to promote women empowerment. So the colleges with similar programs, it's just kind of just saying that there are other colleges around the nation who do have, oops, sorry, that was me. Oh, you're all good. Who have implemented this program, so there you go. And then finally, the financials, what we're all interested about. So I'm going to be asking to discuss $1,550. So the reason why we're asking for that number, and we would like to get more, but we're kind of tiering the program right now. The reason why I'm asking for that number is because under 100 cups that you would buy, it would be $17.50 per cup. So we would be getting it at a slightly reduced price from the reduced price we already have, because remember it's about $35 retail. So, and then it would ship in no more than 2 weeks. We can buy as many as we want. So let's say this program is really successful, and then we have so if you do maybe 50 cups, then that would be about $800. And then you can pull that funds that you got from the profits and then buy more, or we can just do maybe 10 cups. So whatever it might be, that money can go to another initiative.
And then also Women's Commons and Office Sustainability will take on the marketing, the events, and education. But one thing I also like to emphasize is that this could be an initiative that ASG can definitely promote as well, and kind of get involved and really like get students like understanding like what we're for. And so I think that like this is something that we can definitely promote as well on our end. Yeah. Any questions?
Point of order, that's the end of the 5-minute segment.
Sorry about that. I tried to go fast.
Evita?
I moved up 5 minutes.
There's a motion on the floor, having been seconded, to add 5 minutes to this discussion. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. Someone had questions? Oh, Maya? Yeah.
I'm sorry if I missed this, but did you say how much they'll retail for on our end?
Yeah, so on our end it would be $15.50 per cup.
Okay.
Under 100 cups, then we would buy it would be $17.50. So this right here.
Oh, so we're selling them for as much as we get them?
No, so we'll sell them, so the tiered pricing, so what the idea is now, like it's just like in the works, not official, but first week we sold for $5, second week $10, and then third week for $15, and after that it'll be $15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Fantasy?
I enjoy, I don't know how to say this, but I like the tiered pricing, and I think if there could be an option for people who are like low income or like need-based to get these, instead of like just giving out the first 20 free when those people could potentially pay for it, kind of having like an appeal, a way to get them for free if you need it.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that we can make as a contingency if you wanted to do that, and like saying like, okay, the first 20 are going to go to priority low income people who might sign up prior to that, so prior to distribution. Wow. Yes, that's awesome. That's a great idea.
Justice?
So just a suggestion, I feel like it would be really cool to kind of also sell them elsewhere besides the women's center, such as the health center, just to give more like space for people and, I don't know, just places on campus. And also I feel like for pricing wise, it would be really cool to kind of give a discounted price for those that are using them for the first time, just because people are nervous and like sometimes it doesn't work for people. So just kind of giving that, and even like a pamphlet on just like the stats of using these cups would be really cool to when someone purchases them, just because it's, I don't know, informational. Yeah.
Definitely, I think that's a great idea, and I'll bring that to Savannah. Like, it's not for sure that we'll sell it in Women's Commons, and I believe she did mention to the Student Health Center. They were a little apprehensive, but she said that I'm sure that's something that we can.
Yeah, and also one last question, sorry.
Yeah.
When would this go into action?
So what she and I are hoping for is that after fundings are approved, it will be we'll be working with the manufacturer next week, and then it'll be shipped in 2 weeks. So hopefully at the end of spring break. Yeah.
Amanda.
Sorry if I missed this, but the revenue that will be generated from charging students, where will that go back into?
Yeah, so it'll go either into a pool of funds that will be used to buy more, or it will be donated to Dot Cups in order to use towards like education.
No, Chitty.
Just to sort of add on to Fantasy's point, I think it'd be a good idea to reserve a certain amount to be put in the pantry, just so that there's access there.
Jen?
Sorry if I'm not following, Rhonda. So you're gonna pay for them at $15.50. So you're gonna pay full out for all of these cups, correct?
Yes.
So I know that you're trying to sell them for higher than the amount that you're paying for it. Is that correct? Okay, I just want to make sure I'm getting this correctly.
Yeah, so we would be receiving no profits on it. it will, because what the understanding is that it would be funded, and then the pool of money that we earn from that will be either, that's like, no, there's no profits there, because like we would be making less than what we paid for it.
So are the cups 30, more
No.
than 15?
So they are retail price $35, but we'll be selling them for $5 to $15 at a reduced price, or free. So we would be, the max price we'd sell it at is $15. It won't be any more.
And how much are you paying for it?
$15.50
For each.
for each. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Okay, I'll clarify that. So we'll be paying $15.50 for all of the menstrual cups individually, and then we'll be selling them at a tiered pricing. So it would be $5 for the first week, $10 for the second week, and then $15 after that. So we'll, no matter what price we sell it at, it'll be 15 max. So we'll be like losing 50 cents if you're thinking about it in a business perspective. So, but like we're not thinking about this in a business perspective, excuse me. So, does that make sense? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Is that okay, Carl? I think I'm just curious as to why you're not just giving them all away for free, and why you're selling them at the tiered rates. And I think I heard you said that you'd be giving the money back to DOT, but it's something to consider if you're using university funds, you know, just like what the intentions are with why you're receiving money back to sell them.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Yes, and so possibly what we could do is maybe with the food pantry and like giving it to at a reduced price or at a free price, excuse me. We can probably up that number from 20 to maybe like 50. That's something I would have to talk to someone about. So, but I definitely understand what you're saying.
Point of order, we've reached the limit on the extension.
And you do have to either vote to deny or approve this request, so we do need more time. Kristen?
I move to vote on the,
Just add.
I move to add 2 minutes to vote.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor, having been seconded, to add 2 minutes to this item. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. Are there any motions for this request? Fantasy?
I move to fund this initiative in full for $1,550.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor, having been seconded, to approve the $1,550 towards the office, or towards Rhonda for this initiative. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. Funds are approved. Yeah, thank you. I know we're getting close to time to be done, but I did want to check, is Nicholas here? Okay, cool. Thanks for joining us. So basically what we have to do before appointing next week? Never mind. I will talk to you personally. It was on the agenda though. Okay, never mind. For you to be officially welcomed into the ASG body, the Senate group has to vote to approve your appointment as a School of Engineering senator. Again, this is Nicholas. Good. Are there any motions to approve his appointment? Crystal?
I move to approve the appointment of engineering school senator.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor, having been seconded, to approve the appointment of the School of Engineering senator. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. Sorry. Can he get sworn in next week, or does he have to get sworn in right now?
Well, what was the motion originally?
just to. Okay. All right. So Nicholas, this is going to be a little awkward maybe, but it's something that all senators have done to be officially welcomed. You could just stand from where you are. It's just a swearing in, so I'm going to read something, ask a few questions, which you will respond, I will, and then you get to just repeat the oath of office. Give me 1 second. Okay. The members of the Associated Student Government of the University of San Diego shall adhere to the highest ethical standards. They shall exercise judgments which are fair, consistent, and equitable. They shall do everything they can to strive for excellence in their goals, adhere to the Constitution and bylaws of the Associated Student Government, and work to achieve the mission of the University of San Diego. After each of the following questions, please respond, I will. Will you demonstrate loyalty to the mission and goals of the University of San Diego?
I will.
Will you act within the Associated Student Government's Constitution and bylaws?
I will.
Will you be fair and just in the treatment of all, addressing issues and people without prejudice, and maintaining a positive working and learning environment?
I will.
Will you honor agreements and preserve confidentiality?
I will.
Will you be honest in and accountable for your actions and statements?
I will.
Will you demonstrate personal and professional integrity in all matters and respect ASG leaders, administrators, faculty, staff, and students?
I will.
Will you provide the leadership in all your assigned duties?
I will.
ASG leader, please join me in saying the oath of office. And so I'll say something and you can repeat it after. We will be part of a team.
We will be part of a team
Which seeks to meet student needs.
which seeks to meet student needs,
To extend opportunities to all students.
to extend opportunities to all students,
And to enhance the quality of education
and to enhance the quality of education
students are offered at USD.
students are offered at USD.
We will work with fellow members
We will work with fellow members
of the ASG leadership team
of the ASG leadership team
in a spirit of harmony and cooperation.
in a spirit of harmony and cooperation.
To the best of our ability,
To the best of our ability,
we will represent and serve
we will represent and serve
the ASG body
the ASG body
of the University of San Diego
of the University of San Diego
in all aspects of campus life.
in all aspects of campus life.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
With that, having done that, we can finally move to the final business and hearing of the public. At this time, any senator may take from the table any motion previously laid in the meeting the week before or present urgent business. Any member of the public may voice any concerns to the assembly on non-agenda items. Catherine, right?
Yeah. Hello, for those of you who don't know, I'm the night librarian in Copley Library, and I'm here to just let you know about the inaugural year of our Copley Library Undergraduate Research Awards. First place paper will win $800 and the second place paper will win $400. The applications are due March 20th. I brought a couple of posters. It's also on our Instagram account where you can find details about eligibility. It's not eligible for group authored papers, but if you worked by yourself in a class with a professor, all the details are on the website, which is linked at the bottom of the poster. I'll just put these on the back table so you can grab one or take a picture of it on your way out. And I just ask if you would tell your friends, tell your constituents, and spread the word. It's our first year, so we'd really like to get a lot of great applications and be able to continue it in future years.
Thank you.
I would just like to let everybody know that next Friday, not tomorrow, but in 8 days, there will be a big event down at the Electronic Recycling Center. I've been working with the Changemaker Hub and the Mulvaney Center Two, we're gonna be getting rid of a lot of used USD furniture that has for years just been piling up down there. USD is really terrible at getting rid of all of this. And finally, after a long time of working in this project, we're gonna open up the doors to community partners, USD staff, faculty, students. So if you're interested in helping out, if you wanna pick up free furniture, next Friday will be a good opportunity between, I think it'll be between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Mario?
To kind of go off Ernesto, I actually have the flyer for that. There's a QR code in it where you can see what is being offered. So if you would like the flyer to see what's on there, please just touch base with me after.
Could you actually just put that on the Slack, maybe, a picture of it?
I can try.
Okay, thanks. Shiri?
Just two announcements. BSU is hosting Wild and Out tonight at 6:30. There's going to be free food to stop by. And also, like Elise said, Africa is on Tuesday from 12:30 to 2. I want you all to stop by. There's going to be good food, African food, Caribbean, and soul food. Also, the business show is talking about Drea Shea Butter. It's owned by a 10-year-old. All the funds go to support her college fund, so stop by and support.
Thank you. Juan? Oh, take him up. Amanda?
Hi everyone, I know we have some new folks in the room joining us, but just a friendly reminder that we make sure that we are voting for every single motion that comes about. So if you don't have an opinion one way or the other, please make sure that you are abstaining and keeping your placards in the air just so that we can make sure that we are recording everybody's vote, but you have to vote in every single motion. Also, secondly, just a reminder with the microphone, we want to make sure that everyone can hear what everyone is saying in the room and that we're following Robert's Rules of Order. And that's our little update. Thank you.
Thank you. Jen?
And using the mics, okay? So, love you all. Couple things. I don't know if you all saw the email, but there's a summer job opportunity if any of you are interested in work this summer. It's through summer conferences. I'll send out the link if you all have not received it, but you should have by now. It's an opportunity to live, have somewhere to live, work, full-time over the summer. So, and if you are interested, let me know and I'll try to put in a good word for you. Secondly, or if there's anyone else, send it to them. Secondly, I wanted to follow up on some of the topics that you all have talked about in these past couple of weeks around training or around things that you want to talk about with administrators and things that you all are really passionate about that I've been really hearing and all that. And I encourage you all that you all are the body that can do that. You can work with Caro if you have topics for training, if you have ideas of things that you still have not gone over. If you want to meet with people, you can do that, and we can help you to arrange that. But I ask that you all, like, I love that you all had this feedback, that you had things to say, that you had ideas, and that, you know, I really hope that that is something that I'll be able to see that you all are able to accomplish within this next semester. But if you have something and you're not sure how to get there, you can talk to your advisor or me or any of us. Would be happy to help support you with that journey.
Thanks, Jen. And I actually worked with summer conferences in 2018. I would highly recommend to look into, sorry, if you don't have anything planned for the summer. If you have any questions, I would also like to answer those.
Hi, I have not had a chance to introduce myself. I'm Michaela. I'm the new news editor this semester for the Vista, so I just want to take the time to introduce myself. And I have one question that if this is something I should like talk to someone more specifically in a longer period of time, please direct me to them. But I was wondering, because I was looking at the budget that you posted, which is awesome, I love all the visuals. I noticed there was a lot of money not used in the spring that was allocated, and I was wondering if that rolls over. And so also for the end of this year, if the money is not used, where does that money go? I don't know if someone has the answer to that, or if I could talk to someone more one-on-one.
Yep. George, did you want to answer? Or after?
No, I'll answer you right now if you want. Otherwise.
So the budget that's on right now, as I mentioned, I think last meeting, it's going to be replaced by one that my advisor and I looked over this morning and finally hashed out. It's a bit more clear and more detailed. With respect to the funds that are not spent in the spring, those will go into what's called the endowed scholarship, and they'll sit there until that matures. Part of those funds will be earmarked for expenses. They kind of start like next fiscal year, which is July 1st, and then the remaining will go to the endowed scholarship fund. There shouldn't be anything on the budget yet for any expenditures in spring, so.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering, like, going forward, is that all out?
But I will, as soon as we get the quarterly reports in there, I'll update that, and that'll be updated as well. Oh, the reserve. The reserve is the only thing that does carry over, but only if it's not used this year. So right now, it's 64,000 in our reserve. If we don't use it, it goes straight to next year. If we use it, whatever's not used goes into next year. Does that answer all your questions?
Justin?
This is just a quick update to the remaining academic committee members to be here. If you guys have to leave after the meeting, I can always just touch base with you, but if we can meet, quick introduction and everything, then I can always start the calendar stuff later on. And then to Nicholas, really appointed School of Engineering homie, yeah, we could also meet afterwards just to fill in on some stuff. That'd be sweet. Thank you.
Any other last minute announcements? Rhonda?
I move to adjourn the meeting. Second.
There's a motion on the floor, having been seconded to adjourn this meeting. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your placards and say aye. Aye. All opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Take some pizza to go. Feed your friends, feed yourself.
I just